Okay, and we're live. Hey everybody, my name is June. This is my friend August. So,
I
welcome back to episode 3 of these senior fireside chats, as I like to call them. As I said, here's my friend August. I've been friends with him since 6th grade? 7th grade?
I think sixth grade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
6th grade. And he's one of my closest buddies, and he's decided to, or asked him to be a part of this conversation, and he obliged. So, today we're going to be talking about how grandparents are seen, or like what the culture is surrounding grandparents and senior citizens in South Korea, where I'm from, yay, versus August, who's lived in America his entire life. Then again, I've lived in America my whole life too, but hey, at least I have family in Korea, so I can vouch for that. Feel free to chime in anytime, August. But the first thing I
Sure.
wanted to talk about was, how does society view senior citizens in general, do you think, in the United States?
Well, I think that there are definitely some services for senior citizens here in the
Mm-hmm.
U.S. However, I don't think people are as close to
Mm-hmm.
seniors as they might be in other nations.
Right.
I know in other nations it can be very commonplace to
Mm-hmm.
live with one's grandparents, but I
Mm-hmm.
think in the United States the concept of like a nuclear family, so like kind of a
Right.
family confined to like parents and children mainly,
Mm-hmm.
has become much more common. And I mean, I guess speaking for myself,
Mm-hmm.
I've always been in contact with my
Mm-hmm.
grandparents, but for a large portion of my life I haven't really even lived in the same state as them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always been that connection, but it's never been like super intimate, I
I
guess.
see. Yeah, and I totally agree with what you said there. For me, all of my uh, family lives in Korea, and there, uh, the way society views seniors is there's sort of like a hierarchy based off of age, and therefore, the older you are in a family, the more respect and authority you have traditionally. The sad thing that I noticed, however, recently in South Korea is that there's a lot of issues with sort of like elder and senior abandonment in Korea. With like some families, they're super tight and super close to each other, but for others, sometimes many family members view their older, more senior family members as a burden sometimes, and I think it's quite sad, honestly. And I'm not. Yeah, it's. I we should definitely change that. It's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Yeah,
that's definitely an issue that needs to be addressed.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on, I want to talk about an interesting topic actually, because this is more of a personal question for me. Because I don't want to overgeneralize, but in America, it seems that like your parents and your grandparents, especially, are sort of like your friend, and you're kind of like buddy almost in certain situations. Like, of course, they are like an authoritative figure and a guiding figure, but I feel in Korea it's much more that the more senior and older people in our lives in South Korea are more authoritative figures and guiding figures than friends, because many parents and grandparents in Korea, they don't view their children or grandchildren as friends. They view them as family or people they must guide first, and then
Yeah.
maybe friends. I wanted to ask you what you thought about that.
Yeah, no, as far as the America part of that
Mm-hmm.
goes, I completely agree. As for my parents,
Mm-hmm.
like as an anecdote, I guess, I've never really, or my grandparents, I've never
Mm-hmm.
really looked up to them as super authoritative figures. If it was
Mm-hmm.
them or my parents, I would
Right.
listen to my parents
Mm-hmm.
first. And yeah, I mean, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, they're very supportive figures that are
Right.
almost like friends.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my experience.
I think personally for me as well, I think my grandparents and my parents also are more. They're for sure definitely a guiding figure, but I think they have this sense of friendship, and they view themselves as my friend as well, because my grandfather passed away when before I was born, and because of that, they really make sure, like, they go to very far ends to make sure that love is felt, and they really like demonstrating that they care for each other. So I'm very thankful for that, and I think that's, yeah, pretty good. Now, I want to move on to another topic as well. For me in Korea, personally, I don't really see my grandparents that often. One, because I live in a different nation, but two, I personally, our family only sees them during like special occasions, like, or we only like we call them during special occasions like Korean traditions or Christmas or New Year's, that kind of stuff. Like, how would you say, is it different in the U.S. or is it like more of a case by case basis? Do you think?
That's tough.
Yeah, it is
I
for
would
sure.
say, yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, for
Mm-hmm.
me personally, I know that before two of my
Mm-hmm.
grandparents passed away, it used to
Mm-hmm.
mainly be special occasions.
Mm-hmm.
That was also due to the fact that I lived in a different state from them.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't as easy to always see them.
Mm-hmm.
However, now I live 30 minutes down the road from one of my grandparents,
Oh, that's
and
nice.
she comes over and we have dinner with her
Oh,
every
that's
few
nice.
weeks. So it's kind of a variety. And to be
Mm-hmm.
honest with you, I can't really say.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, it's special occasions. For a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people, they see him every few weeks or
Right,
maybe
right.
even every day.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's definitely case by case.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Okay, so this is gonna be sort of like the final question, and I think it sort of goes back to like the friend versus like authority figure. Do you, when you see your grandparents or senior citizens in general in society, do you think society sort of like feels a great amount of respect for seniors?
Mm, I wouldn't say a great amount of respect. Um,
Mhm.
it's kind of tough because I
Right.
feel like with this whole pandemic, I've kind of gotten sucked into like
Right.
the social media rabbit hole.
Oof, yeah.
But I don't know. That's a
Mhm.
tough one.
Yeah.
I know for me personally, when I see a senior, I mean, I have some
Mhm.
sense of respect for them.
Right, right. Mhm.
They've put through so much,
Mhm.
and I think that's really incredible. They've
Mhm.
had some very fascinating
Yeah.
experiences that, you know,
Mhm.
kind of makes them like have a status of respect for
Right.
me.
Mhm.
But I don't. That's tough to say
Yeah,
for a
for
lot of
sure.
people. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, it's really tough.
Mhm.
I honestly can't give you an answer for that
Yeah.
one.
I think that it also has to do with like how we show our respect to seniors, because I think in America we tend to show respect for seniors and like by just like the small things, by like having dinner together or like calling your grandparents once in a while. I think like that's how they show respect in America, and I think it works well, very well in America. In Korea, we do a slightly different thing. For example, if you see a senior person or you meet a new senior person, you walk up to them like this and you go bow like that and you say hello. And then we're more direct, I think, but and like we show it in more of a physical way. But either way, I still think there's a lot of respect going around in both cultures.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just like different forms of it, I
exactly.
guess.
Yeah. So anyway, that wraps it up all for now. And I want to make a full disclaimer here. This is our first time doing one of these podcasts or video call things together. So we know it's not perfect, but we're looking to make it better and improve. So if you have any suggestions, tips, or even if you have any topics that you want us to discuss, please let us know, and we'll be happy to reach out. But yeah, so once again,
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
June,
It's
and
it's been
yeah,
great talking, Junhook, and
you
I've
too,
really
August.
enjoyed this. I hope
Awesome,
to be on future ones.
awesome. Okay, that's it for us for now. Bye.